Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivracharya Asutra Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhechanna Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Anand Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, श्री नवदीप धाम की, गंगा माई की, यमुना माई की, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Vastai Bhutale Srimati Bir Krishna Gostamniti Namne Namo Hamsa Nikashaya Prabhupada Priyaya Tasya Didrashti Nishtavyam Tasya Vakyanavadine. Okay, good morning and Hare Krishna to everyone. Hare Krishna and good morning to our online viewers as well, who are watching us on Mayapur TV, on Sydney channel. For those of you who would like further information, if you want to attend our classes that are brought to you live from this temple, Sydney, we go live on a website, which is a TV website, mayapur.tv. So you click on that and you find Sydney channel. At 8 o'clock every morning we have classes. There is ISKCON Hare Krishna classes. You can also watch classes from worldwide, anywhere from the world. So we have various channels there, mayapur.tv. So welcome to our viewers who are also watching us on Facebook, ISKCON Sydney Facebook, as well as ISKCON Sydney YouTube. So this morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 5, and Chapter 5 is titled Frustration of the Sacrifice of Daksha. So for those of you who would like to consult this text on your phones, on Google, you type Vedabase, 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 and then SB, S for Sam, B for Bob, or S for Srimad, B for Bhagavatam, SB, and then you type 4.5.5. We are reading from text 5, 4.5.5. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay. Agnapta evam kupite namanyuna Sadeva devam parichakrame vibhum Mene tadatmanamasangaraham sahasa Mahiyasam tata saha sahishnum Agnapta evam kupite namanyuna Sadeva devam parichak परिचक्रमे विभूम् मेने तदात्मानमसङ्गरं हसा माहियासां तथा सहा सहिष्णुम् अज्ञाप्त एवं कुपितेन मान्युना सदेव देवं परिचक्रमे विभूम् मेने तदात्मानमसङ्गरं हसा माहीयसां तात सहा सहिष्णुम् अज्ञाप्तकीपं कुपितेन मान्युना सदेव देवं परिचक्रमे विभूम् मेने तदात्मानमसङ्गरं हसा महीयासां तात सहा सहिष्णुम् अज्ञाप्त एवं कुपितेन मन्युना सदेव देवं परिचक्रमे विभुम् मेने तदात्मानमसङ्गरं हसा महीयासां तथा सहा सहिष्णुम् अज्ञाप्त एवं कुपितेन मन्युना सदेव देवं परिचक्रमे विभुम् मेने तदात्मानमसङ्गरं हसा महीयसां तात सहा सहिष्णुम्. Ladies, अज्ञाप्त एवं कुपितेन मन्युना सदेव देवं परिचक्रमे विभुम् मेने तदात्मानमसङ्गरं हसा महीयासां तथा सहा सहिष्णुम्. Any other ladies? अज्ञात एवं कुपितेन मन्युना सदेव देवं परिचक्रमे विभुम् मेने तदात्मानमसङ्गरं हसा महीयासां तात सहा सहिष्णुम्. Okay, good, thank you. Agnaptaha, being ordered. Evam, in this manner. Kupitena, angry. Manyuna, by Lord Shiva, who is anger personified. Saha, he, Virabhadra. Deva Devam, he who is worshipped by the demigods. Parichakrame, circumambulated. Vibhum, Lord Shiva. Mene, considered. Tada, at that time. Atmanam, himself. Asanga Ramhasa, with the power of Lord Shiva that cannot be opposed. Mahiyasham of the most powerful. Tata, my dear Vidur. Saha, strength. Sahishnum, capable of coping with. Okay, so the translation of the purport that we have, the translation of the verse that we have just recited in English, if we can repeat after me. Maitreya continued, my dear Vidur, that black person was the personified anger of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was prepared to execute the orders of Lord Shiva. Thus, considering himself capable of coping with any power offered against him, he circumambulated Lord Shiva. Okay, so this verse does not have a purport explanation, so we'll go on to 6, 7, and then finally 8 has got a purport. So I will quickly run through the translations to save some time. So text 6, the following verse, after this, the translation of that text, many other soldiers of Lord Shiva followed the fierce personality in a tumultuous uproar. He carried a great trident, fearful enough to kill even death. And on his legs he wore bangles which seemed to roar. Now who is this? He's a demon called Veerbhadra. I'll explain to you who he is, how he came about, why he is so angry. So the next text 7, this one also doesn't have a purport. So it follows, at that time, all the persons assembled in the sacrificial arena, the priests, the chief of the sacrificial performance, and the Brahmins and their wives, all wondered where the darkness was coming from. Later, they could understand that it was a dust storm, and all of them were full of anxiety. So text 8, this one has a purport. Text 8 follows, conjecturing on the origin of the storm, they said, there is no wind blowing and no cows are passing, nor is it possible that this dust storm could be raised by plunderers. Plunderers are thieves. For there is still the strong king Barhi, who would punish them. So that place was guarded by a king. So there was no way those things could happen. So where is this dust storm blowing from? Is the dissolution of the planet now to occur? So they're thinking there's annihilation going, pralay. So the purport, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So the explanation further, specifically significant in this verse is Prachina Barhir Jivati. The king of that part of land was known as Barhi. And although he was old, he was still living, and he was a very strong ruler. Thus there was no possibility of any invasion by thieves and plunderers. Indirectly it is stated here that thieves, plunderers, rogues, and unwanted population can exist only in a state or kingdom where there is no strong ruler, no strong king. So when in the name of justice thieves are allowed liberty, the state and kingdom are disturbed by such plunderers and unwanted population. The dust storm created by the soldiers and assistants of Lord Shiva resembled the situation at the time of the dissolution of this world. When there is a need for dissolution of the material creation, this function is conducted by none other than Lord Shiva. Therefore, the situation now created by him resembled the dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. So Lord Shiva, as you can tell from this purport, is very, very, very angry. So very quickly, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So recap of the story, Lord Shiva's wife, Sati, goes uninvited to her father's yagna. The father is very proud and doesn't like Lord Shiva, so who is her husband, Sati's husband. So he didn't invite Sati, and he didn't invite Lord Shiva. She went there uninvited, and there she was humiliated and insulted. And then furthermore, Lord Shiva was insulted, and Lord Shiva was humiliated. And so Sati decided that she did not need this body that she was given by her fallen soul father, who was a fallen soul and so proud. She didn't want it. If a man if a father is so humiliating and insulting towards her and her husband, then she doesn't need him. She doesn't want to be his daughter, doesn't need the body. So she decides, there's a yagna going, she jumps in the fire and gives up her body. So in a nutshell, so what happened is, at that time, Lord Shiva's soldiers were there to escort Sati. So they got really angry that that had happened, and they decided to kill the father, Daksha, who had insulted. And in order to, they tried to attack, but Bhrigu Muni, he is a sage, great sage. He was powerful. He knew different mantras. So in the same fire, he said this mantra to save Daksha. So, so he said this mantra to save Daksha. So the soldiers couldn't kill Daksha. So what happened is, then Lord Shiva came to know. They returned. Lord Shiva came to know the message. His wife is dead. Excuse me. So then, Lord Shiva, actually Lord Shiva is known as the perfect husband. Did you know that? He's a perfect husband. So the duty of a husband is to protect his wife first and foremost. He tried to protect her in the first place, told her not to go, but she didn't listen. So he was very, very, very angry. Actually, Lord Shiva is a master of his senses. He doesn't need to be, but here he is displaying how a husband should react if his wife is insulted. And obviously his wife is dead, so very, very angry. Mind you, Sati is, she's the energies of Radharani, she's Durga Devi, she's Kali, goddess Kali. She, within her own rights, she can annihilate the whole planetary systems. So what about Daksha, her father? She could have just with one glance killed him right there and then. She becomes Kali. Kali is the goddess, and you've heard of Kali, right? She is an angry lady, and she has fierce teeth, and what she does, this is Sati. This is another one of her forms. She will kill and she will drink the blood of demons. So she didn't really need to rely on anyone to protect her, as a matter of fact. But here, she is behaving like the exemplary wife and the exemplary daughter. And Lord Shiva here is being the exemplary husband. So when he is really angry, Lord Shiva, actually, just going back a few steps, was it called rewind? So we do a little bit of rewind. Lord Shiva was, before this yagna, there was another yagna. In that yagna, Parvati Devi, Sati was not there, but all the rishis and all the demigods, Lord Vishnu, Brahma, and Lord Shiva was also there. He was insulted in that yagna too by this Daksha. And at that time, Lord Shiva controlled all his senses. He never said a word. He didn't get angry at all. And he was insulted very badly. And if he wanted, at that time, he would just open his third eye and would have burned Daksha right there and then. He didn't do it. He's Lord Shiva. He's a Lord of annihilation. So he didn't do it. So that's the difference I'm just trying to say. When his wife is killed, then he is really very angry. So he gets up like a madman. He takes a little bit of hair out of his, snatches it. And his hair, it resembles just like a electric cable that is fully powered like lightning. It was flashing, and he drops it to the ground. And from his hair is produced this demon, Veerabhadra. And Veerabhadra is basically the anger personification of Lord Shiva. Full anger. But also it's mentioned here in the purport that he is, actually translation, Veerabhadra is an anger personification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is Krishna. So somewhat like Narsimhadev when he's really angry. So Veerabhadra, when he was born out of the hair, he put his hands together and said, "What shall I do? Give me an order." And Lord Shiva's instruction was go and kill Daksha and all his soldiers. Lord Shiva could have done it himself. All he would have done was just given a glance and burned them to ashes. That's actually what he did to Kamdev. Kamdev is Cupid, god of love. He makes everybody fall in love. So this is later on in the story, because Lord Shiva, after Sati dies, he sits in meditation and he becomes a sadhu, brahmachari, or he's not inclined to marry again. So he is always focusing on Lord Krishna, the supreme. I mean, he's a Lord in his own category, but there's Krishna who is higher than him. Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva sits to meditate, he meditates on someone who is higher than himself. You can't meditate on somebody lower than yourself or yourself. So it's got to be someone higher. So when Lord Shiva is in samadhi, he's resting, he's meditating, he's thinking of Lord Krishna. So, and I'll explain to you why Lord Krishna is the supreme in just a second. So, so he was in samadhi. He was not interested in a wife. And the demigods really wanted him to get married, because there was a demon out there who was torturing these demigods, the heavenly planets. And the prophecy was that only Lord Shiva's child can kill this demon. So they said, if Sati is not there, he's not getting married, where is the child coming from? How will we get saved? These demons are taking over. So let's go to Kamdev, god of love, make Lord Shiva fall in love with Parvati, who is Sati's reincarnation. Again, she is born. And then they'll get married. So Lord Shiva was not happy about that. He was being disturbed. Don't disturb my samadhi. Just like some devotees were chanting, don't disturb my chanting. They're in full focus. So he was in samadhi, and Kamdev or Cupid decided to shoot his arrows and do some things, and Lord Shiva just opened his eyes and burnt him to ashes. Dead straight away, no body. Well, he was in soul form. So Cupid became no body at all. He was there. Later on, he became, Pradyuman. Lord Krishna's mercy, he got another body. But that's another story for another day. So, so what I'm saying is, in that yagna, Lord Shiva could have burnt anyone to ashes, but he didn't. So this is the stage where we are at. Now, I did mention to you why why Lord Shiva is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This again, or how Lord Krishna is higher or above Lord Shiva. So this again is Bhrigu Muni's fault or cause. Like Bhrigu Muni was the sage who tried to stop Daksha from being killed by putting the mantra and trying to, and then he produced all these soldiers who killed Lord Shiva's soldiers. So Bhrigu Muni again was up to some mischief, not really, but he was appointed by the rest of the sages. Because all the sages, all the rishis and the munis, they were having a discussion. Like we are sitting here, we are having a discussion. And the discussion was, who is greater? Because there are three deities of this material world. This world, there is Brahma, there is Vishnu, there is Mahesh, or Lord Shiva. Out of the three, in this material nature, who is God? Who is in the mode of goodness? Who is the most superior? So I'm trying to point out how it was distinguished that Lord Shiva is not God. but Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna is. So the sages got together and appointed Bhrigu Muni. You go and do the test. You do the experiment. If they pass the test, then obviously that person is God. So Bhrigu Muni, being the best of the sages, was brave enough to do it. Now Bhrigu Muni is the son of Lord Brahma. And he is also the brother of Lord Shiva too, because Lord Shiva was born out of Lord Brahma. So there's a relationship there. So first he went to his father, Lord Brahma, and he decided to offend Lord Brahma. And if you go to someone of a higher position, you're supposed to offer your obeisances, danvat, pranams, and then you glorify them, or you give them, pray, and you glorify. But here Bhrigu didn't do any of those things. So he insulted in a subtle way or an obvious way. So Brahma was aware, Lord Brahma, that his son Bhrigu Muni was not following etiquette. Now, lots of devotees sometimes do that too. They don't follow etiquette. Like the other day, we were singing Kirtan, and this Mataji deliberately, or maybe not deliberately, received the flowers from the altar, went to Srila Prabhupada, offered that. That's the etiquette. Next etiquette is to offer to the person who's singing the Kirtan. That's the usual following. And then you offer to, the other senior devotees. And then everyone else. That's generally Hare Krishna. So she didn't follow that etiquette. And you have to think, oh, what the hell, what's going on? And this person is supposed to be Brahmin initiated and knowing all etiquette. But this is only a small thing. So, like Lord Brahma, how did he react when his son didn't follow etiquette? He got angry. He got really angry. However, he did not act on the anger. He controlled himself, because Lord Brahma, his master of his senses, he's still, his mode, his nature is better. His better control. So, but Bhrigu Muni could understand that my father is angry, better go from here. So Bhrigu Muni left, but he knew, okay, Lord Brahma cannot be God, because he got angry. And he got angry because I didn't follow etiquette. So in that sense, where devotees are, if somebody doesn't follow etiquette, it depends on how much angry we get and what our reaction is. Basically, we learn from that. In that instance, I must admit I got angry. Of course, I didn't act on it though. If somebody deliberately, that was a deliberate show of, because this person was trying to show that your kirtan and this is nothing and you are very insignificant. It was very obvious. So I won't name this Mataji, but the whole point is we do get devotees. Like we get devotees, they're all work in progress. So we don't blame anyone, because we are all learning one point to another. So I must admit I got angry, but Brahma here also got angry. So all the way up there they get angry. But the point was that he is not God. Then he decided to go to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is his brother. So he is not supposed to offer obeisances, but as his brother is supposed to embrace him. But Lord Shiva moved to embrace Bhrigu Muni, and Bhrigu Muni would not embrace him. And instead, he said, Lord Shiva, you have unclean habits, you are dirty. You have ashes of the crematorium on you, I'm not going to hug you, I'm not going to embrace you. Imagine. So Lord Shiva got very angry. His eyes turned red. And I think he said a few words, and Bhrigu Muni then left from there without being cursed or anything. But Bhrigu Muni realized Lord Shiva is very angry, so he can't be God. So the last person he visited was who? Yeah, Lord Vishnu. He went there, and Lord Vishnu was lying down on the bed of snakes with Lakshmi Devi, at his feet, massaging his feet or worshipping him. And he decided to go there, and this is a very bold and brave thing he did. What did he do? He went and he kicked Lord Vishnu's chest. Imagine you're sitting there and somebody comes and kicks you with their foot. It's very, very insulting, very bad, not supposed to do that. So, Lord Vishnu should have gotten very angry. But he didn't. He didn't get angry. And he said to Bhrigu Muni, my chest is very hard. Did your foot get hurt? Because maybe, and it's true, Lord Vishnu's chest is as hard as thunderbolt. So he was concerned for Bhrigu Muni. And not only that, he apologized. I'm sorry if I've hurt you. Or, if there's anything, please sit down. My humble obeisances to you. You are a great sage. Let me worship you, my Lord. Lord Vishnu calls Bhrigu Muni my Lord. Actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, in 10.25, I read the other day, so I remember the shlok. Lord Krishna says in there that of all the best of sages, I am Bhrigu Muni. So actually, Lord Vishnu is, one of his forms is Bhrigu Muni anyway. But in this particular pastime. So then Bhrigu Muni realized and could not speak, could not say anything except tears are falling on his face. And he says, you are God. You are Lord. So that decided. So I was just trying to say, Lord Shiva, he is not God. He sits and he meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Lord Vishnu. Now, that being decided, there's a side story to this pastime, is that, how shall we put it, Lakshmi Devi, the wife, you will come across this. If a wife is present and her husband is insulted in front of the wife, she will get very angry. She does not, even if she, at home behind doors, she will say 10 things, insulting things to her own husband, which is a daily routine for a wife in some households, right? But if anybody else says anything bad to her husband, God help you, she will get very angry. So she only reserves the right to insult her husband, nobody else. So, and it's a funny thing, because one day I was in the temple, this is a funny story, and by accident, one Prabhuji was offering Danvat, and we were busy dancing at the same time, and my foot, unfortunately, interacted with him while he was offering Danvats, and I was feeling so bad that, I accidentally kicked, or I didn't kick, but my foot touched. And I was feeling so bad, because we don't do that. Devotees don't touch their feet with the other devotees. So the wife comes up and she says to me, Mataji, you should have kicked him some more, because I don't get the privilege. So that was a joke. I actually went to apologize to the Mataji. I'm sorry, but your husband was here and somehow we were dancing and the foot touched. So sorry, my apologies. And she goes, Mataji, you should have done some more, because I don't get the opportunity. Anyway, in this case, Lakshmi Devi, she was insulted. So she left in an anger. But from that day onwards, she does not like Brahmins. Well, Bhrigu Muni was a Brahmin. So what happens when Lakshmi Devi is angry with you? Never get Lakshmi Devi to be angry with you. You will be without wealth. She's wealth. So that's why Brahmins are usually broke. A Pakka Brahmin, that is. One who's pretending to be a Brahmin, well, they are not broke, they are wealthy. They have side businesses. They just pretend to be Brahmin, but a real Brahmin, they are normally broke. They not wealthy, they don't. Because Lakshmi Devi was angered at that point. So unfortunately, Brahmins are cursed. But on the flip side, if you see a Brahmin who is very poor, you know he's a Pakka pure Brahmin. He is doing the right things. That's another side of the story. So now I wanted to bring this point. Actually, Lord Shiva's Veerabhadra went there and tried to kill Daksha, but many times he couldn't. He tried to kill Daksha, but it was challenging for him. Then in the end, but he did manage to kill Daksha. How did he kill him? There was this weapon there on the sacrificial arena that they used to kill animals. He was able to hold that and behead or decapitate with a weapon that was used for animals. So the significance of this is anybody who does this, because sati is a very high level, she's a goddess. And also she's a Vaishnavi. She's a devotee of the Lord. If such a horrible thing has happened to somebody of that elevated platform, she's very high level. You are no less than an animal. That's what the whole significance was. So Daksha was treated like an animal and killed like an animal. And in the end, when he did get his head back of an animal, a goat later on. So, and then he learned his lesson. So sometimes people have to go through these horrible situations in order to learn their lessons, because they just don't understand etiquette or good manners or whatever it is, through kindness or generosity or in a very soft way we explain, they don't. So you have to be a bit harsh. So Daksha had to be treated like that. Now, what happens? How does that? Let's see. If you are a Vaishnav, if you are a devotee of Lord Krishna, how do you get saved? Who saves you? From someone, like say that Lord Shiva was angry with you for something. Because Lord Shiva, there is one incarnation of Lord Shiva. Who is that? The angry one? Who? Rudra is one, yes, and there's another one. There's another one. Rudra is correct. Something Muni. Durvasa Muni, correct. Durvasa Muni, he is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. When he comes to town, you leave town. He is very angry from any curses. So, who saves you from that? Once Durvasa Muni was angry, Lord Shiva was angry with the Vaishnav. Who's going to protect you? Like in this case, Lord Shiva was protecting Sati, or trying to, and so didn't happen. His soldiers couldn't protect. He sent a demon. Say that you are a devotee. Who protects you? Well, Lord Krishna protects you. He does, just like Lord Nrsimhadev came to protect Prahlad. Suppose you've done something bad, right, like Daksha, but you've also done something good. You've chanted Hare Krishna. Now this is coming to our level, you know. We are not on Daksha's level, but on our own planet Earth, on our level. We all are struggling. We do good things, we do bad things. So how do you get saved? Well, you get saved at the time of death, obviously. You could go to hell for doing something bad. But because you have chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you have worshipped Krishna, the Vishnu Doots can come and protect you. Did you know that? Who are Vishnu Doots? Vishnu Doots are, they're messengers, they're soldiers of Lord Vishnu. They are devotees of Lord Vishnu, but they are servants of Lord Vishnu. They come and get the soul back to heavenly planets Vaikuntha. So there was this pastime about Ajmil. He was, you know the story. He was a good Brahmin, and then he fell in the bad association of prostitutes. And so at the time of death, you know, the Yamadutas came. They said, well, he's been with the prostitutes. He's left his wife, and his father was kicked out. He neglected his children except for one. So we will take him. And the Vishnu Dut said, no, but he is a Brahmin. And he called Narayan's name. You know, Lord's name. His son's name was Narayan. So at the time of death, he was calling his son Narayan, Narayan. But actually, Narayan is Krishna's name. So the Vishnu Duts also came. And they had an argument. Yamadutas and Vishnu Dutas. And I could actually give you a reference on that. It's actually in Canto 6. I won't give you a reference, I'll just tell you because we're almost finished. So in that Canto 6, it says there that Vishnu Dutas are on the same level as Lord Vishnu. On the same level. They are just as good as Lord Vishnu. Not Lord Vishnu, but just as good. So because their level is so high, they win over the Yamduts and Yamraj. Yamaraj is also a form of Lord Vishnu, but Lord Vishnu is higher than Yamaraj. Yamaraj is the Lord of death. At the time of death, when you do something bad and you qualify to go to hell, you have a visa, PR for hell, because you've done something bad. So the Yamdutas will come to take you. And Yamaraj is the lord of that hellish planets. He gives out punishments. So for this particular thing, Ajamil, he managed to win because he called out the Lord's name. The holy names of the Lord is very powerful. So that's our situation. So if ever you are attacked or somebody is sent to you to attack you, what should you do? Call the Ghostbusters. No, call Krishna. Oh, well, he is a Ghostbuster. Lord Krishna's name's enough to combat anyone and anything. It is written in our Vedas. It's 100% proof and 100% without doubt. If you ever need help, all you have to do is call Krishna and help will come. Because his names are that powerful. Why it's powerful? Because he said, in the age of Kali, I will be present in my names. And so 100% potency of Lord Krishna, if called sincerely and purely, is in his name. All you have to do is call him. So how we call him is what? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that's all you have to do to protect yourself from Veerbhadra. We just, for those who arrived late, Veerbhadra is a demon who went to kill Daksha. But for personalities like that. Lord Shiva has many qualities. Lord Shiva is easily angered, but he is also easily pleased. Did you know that there was this king of Kashiraj? He went to Lord Shiva, and what benediction he asked for? He asked Lord Shiva the benediction after performing all the austerities. He must have gone to the jungle and did Om or whatever it is. He starved himself. But Lord Shiva was so pleased with this king of Kashiraj. What do you want? I'll give you. Kashiraj said, I want to kill Krishna. Who is Krishna? Krishna is God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can you? No one can give you that boon. No one can give you that benediction. But Lord Shiva, being kind, he said, yes. Obviously, Kashiraj went to fight with Krishna. He died. Krishna killed him. That benediction did not come. So my point is that Krishna is the strongest of all. Krishna is the most powerful of all. Nothing and no one can defeat him. Not even Lord Shiva. No one, no one. So if you happen to be Lord Krishna's devotee, you are doing the right thing, you are on the right path. You've chosen the right God. Does that mean that if you are worshipping Goddess Kali or Goddess Durga or Lord Shiva is bad thing? Well, it is not the best thing, because you are not worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the one who is the highest. However, Goddess Durga, called Kali, Lord Shiva, they are capable of giving you the blessings to go higher. In other words, they themselves are worshippers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He himself meditates on Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva. So they'll say, okay, Tathastu, you also become a Vaishnava like me. Because Durga Devi is Vaishnavi. She's Vaishnav. So they will give you the boon to become Vaishnavas. And so you get the benediction. Actually, take me for example, personally, I was a Lord Shiva devotee from the start, from the time I was born. So there is no way anybody could tell me to go to Lord Krishna. So stubborn. Until Lord Shiva himself told me to go to Krishna. But that's another story. So, but I was directed to Krishna. So, because the protection you need, who can give you the best protection of all is Lord Krishna actually. No one is stronger than him. So here he is trying to protect his wife, and he will he will kill Daksha, and then the story will continue. What's going to happen? I told you a little bit about what happens with the Cupid, god of love, and there's many things that will happen later. So keep tuned in, and you will you will come to really interesting point to see how Lord Shiva and Durga Devi, they work to serve Krishna. They work to serve Krishna. And there was one example I wanted to give for Goddess Kali. Goddess Kali, she is worshipped by some very foolish people too, who offer her goats and even mankind, even a human being. They offer blood, sacrifice, offer to Kali, and they think that Kali will be very happy. But Kali is who? She is Lord Shiva's wife. They are Vaishnavas. They are vegetarians. They don't like meat, they don't like blood. So she's never going to be happy if you offer goat or something. So in this particular story, these people, they're Shudras. The king of the Shudras wanted a son, so decided to worship Kali by offering a man in cut his throat and offer the blood. Unfortunately, that man ran away, so they decided to go and find somebody else. And when they went, they saw this man or this Brahmin, but who was very disheveled, looked like a dirty, and he looked like a half man, half animal, sort of, like he wasn't really civilized looking. So they thought, oh, he's a good candidate, let's go and sacrifice him. So they grabbed hold of him. He didn't even protest, that he didn't even try to escape. Who he was a Brahmin, born 2 or 3 times. His name was Jada Bharat, and he was just trying to be very Krishna conscious, like a devotee, like a Brahmin, that he renounced the whole world. So he didn't have a care in the world. So he looked very untidy because he was always in samadhi and focusing on Krishna, that he forgot the rest of the world. So he was a pure devotee. He was a Vaishnava, and unfortunately he was the one taken for sacrifice to Goddess Kali. So, and then they bathed him, they dressed him, they fed him lots of nice food. And then after that, they took him in front of Kali and they got the sword, Goddess Kali, and tried to kill him. Now, we are talking about protection, how you are protected. And what did Goddess Kali do? The deity form. She looked and she saw, that's Lord Krishna's devotee right there. He's going to be killed and he's going to be hurt. He didn't even ask for help. Then what happened was, she came out of the deity with a fierce roar and big red eyes and really big teeth. Goddess Kali came out, and she didn't come out by herself. She had her lady friends with her too. They were witches. Very fearsome looking friends. They all came and they killed all the Shudras there, and they drank the blood like they were drinking somras or something. To them, they were drinking some nectar, the blood. So that's Goddess Kali. That's how she protected the devotee of Lord Krishna. So my point is that, in the yagna, when she was being insulted, she could have easily turned into Kali. She is not a helpless lady. But she is a servant of Lord Krishna. So, coming back to that point of worshipping Goddess Kali or Lord Shiva, they work for Krishna. Any devotees of Lord Krishna, they protect. That's what I was trying to say. So, best is, if you want to worship, you want to know who God is. It's Krishna. Read the Bhagavad Gita, read the Srimad Bhagavatam that we are reading, any literatures that's been written by Srila Prabhupada or translated by Srila Prabhupada. You will find the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. Supreme God is Krishna. So, thank you for listening. I have time for one question or comment if anyone has. Any comments and any questions? Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai.